Hello and welcome to the Long Island Weather Update. It's January 11th, 2024, and in and out of the clouds today. We had some sun for a little bit in the late afternoon, like after 2 o'clock, like maybe an hour or two before it went down. But other than that, we've been kind of stuck in the clouds all day, and we're back in the clouds tonight as expected. So let's look at our what the day was like today. I'll just show you what the creek looked like here. Carl's River there. It looks like it's come down quite a bit, as you see there. I was able to make it to Southern's Lake today, because yesterday I couldn't. It was too flooded. But you can see how the water is really high. See the grass over here? That's usually where the beach is. So water level pretty high there at Southern's. And our sunset, kind of interesting with these clouds and a little bit of haze around. But it was a mild day today. And yeah, looking across the country, you can see we've got a lot of things going on. Winter storm warnings for the upper Midwest. We got freezing spray warnings, heavy freezing spray warnings, and storm warnings for Lake Superior. And then we've got wind chill advisories where the Arctic air is coming down. This whole area is surrounded by a winter weather advisory. Then we've got, look at this large area of wind advisories here. And we even have some high wind watches. And actually, we have some high wind warnings now. So it's a taste of things to come. We're going to do it all over again tomorrow night. And you can see more winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories in the Intermountain West there. So just a whole hodgepodge of things going on. Blizzard warnings as well. And in Arizona, we've got hard freeze warnings. Yeah, it's going to get cold. I think even in Phoenix, it's going to get cold. So we'll look at our current observations right now across the area. And you can see it's down. It's pretty chilly already in a place like Phoenix. 43 is pretty chilly for Phoenix, and I'm sure Flagstaff, which maybe Grand Canyon National Park is 3. Flagstaff is 16. Yeah, clear skies. That's what I wish I would have instead of this mess. You can see, look at this. You can see in Texas, you can see some wind gusts, windy conditions there, and you can see ahead of the storm all the warm air that's surging up ahead of it, warm humid air ahead of it. And right now, like I said, we had a relatively calm day, although it was kind of, gloomy with all the clouds around. And you can see already, watches and warnings already up here. We've got coastal flood advisory in effect for the North Shore. Coastal flood warning for the South Shore. Yeah, that's right, very bad. We still got flood warnings along these rivers here. And then we've got a wind advisory listed for New Jersey. And we'll have to see if they're going to put us on a high wind warning or not. I don't think the winds will be as extreme. I'm hoping not. We got gale warnings, gale watches in effect. So we got to go through this all over again. Another damn storm again. So let's take a look at what the day was like today. You can see temperatures still in the mid-40s. The cloud cover is kind of holding those temperatures up. And we got into the mid-40s today across much of Long Island. And as you head toward southern half of New Jersey, near 50 degrees there, way above what it's supposed to be. Lows, well, they did get down to 28 in West Hampton. For everybody else, was above freezing, upper 30s, low 40s in the city. Let's go to our latest briefing on this storm here, because here's the latest storm system we get to deal with here. This is a coastal flood warning and advisories issued for much of the coast on Saturday. Flood watch in effect for much of the interior Friday night to Saturday. Storm watch for the ocean waters and gale watch for the remainder of the water Friday night to Saturday. Widespread minor to moderate river flooding likely Friday night into Saturday. Locally major river flooding possible. Widespread minor and urban poor drainage flooding threat Friday night to Saturday. That's the middle of the island there. That's what we have. And then we've got to watch out for the coastal flooding, moderate coastal flooding on the South Shore, eastern Long Island, and dune erosion and overwash is likely. Strong winds possible for the coast Friday night and Saturday. This is very bad Fire Island, because Fire Island got hit very hard, and they've actually hit a number of breaches there, even in Fire Island Pines. Rainfall 1.5 to 2 inches locally, 2.5 inches possible. Much of this will fall between 10 p.m. Friday evening and 8 a.m. Saturday. Heaviest rainfall, we already read that. Moderate river flooding threat Friday night, Saturday. And then this is the map here for the rainfall. And it seems like they're mainly concerned about the rainfall here. I don't see anything about, or here's the wind part of it. So strong winds, southeast winds of 25 to 35 miles an hour with gusts up to 50 Friday night, particularly Long Island. Strongest winds between midnight Friday and 8 a.m. Saturday. Shift to southwest winds of 20 to 30 miles an hour with gusts of 45 miles an hour during the day on Saturday. Scattered tree limbs and power outages possible. So, yeah, we got to deal with this all over again here. And I kind of showed you these maps already that you're familiar with here, all these areas. They could be affected by coastal flooding here on the South Shore, mainly south of Merrick Road. You can see that here, and Fire Island and the Barrier Islands too, as well. So, yeah, let's pull this satellite out and take a look at our storm here on the CONUS view. And you can see it hasn't fully developed yet, but it's going to start strengthening. You can see it right here. It's going to start strengthening, and you see we've got clear sky over the southeast. Too bad we couldn't even get into that sunshine. We've had this stupid cyclonic flow over us that's kind of keeping the clouds over us. So let's look at our weather map here, and you'll see here is your low pressure system, area of low pressure systems right here in the Midwest. And this is all going to be marching its way through the Great Lakes. And we do have severe weather that we got to watch out for. They've got an enhanced risk for severe weather in extreme eastern Texas and looks like parts of Kansas there, and Louisiana and the Gulf Coast. And yeah, and tomorrow there could be even a bigger area of severe weather here, and that's the whole southeast, pretty much the whole southeast. You know, from Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, a marginal risk in Florida, and around that, even into Kentucky, and then around that, a general thunderstorm risk that they have put us in as well, because we could have thunderstorms with this storm as well. Looking at the radar right now, you can see we do have some, again, this cyclonic flow causing some light mixed precipitation and even a little bit of snow upstate. But the big storm, this is it right here. It doesn't look too bad right now, but it's going to get worse. You can see there is some scattered severe weather over here right now that we have. I don't think there are any warnings out for these storms, but tomorrow I think is going to be a lot more active as this storm intensifies. Let's go to the models now. And actually, before I go to the models, let's look at our climate statistics for the day. At islip, so we were way, way above normal again today. Islip, the high 47, the normal high 39. That's 8 degrees above normal. The low 42, a whopping 17 degrees above normal, putting us 13 degrees above normal for the day at Islip. Central Park, running about 10 degrees above normal for the day. So very much above normal. And we can actually look at the preliminary monthly data and just show you how far above normal we've been running for this month at Islip. So let's see what we got here. We are running about almost 4 degrees above normal so far at Islip. So it's been quite warm, but things will change after we get done with this second storm. So you can see it right here. And looking at the models here, you can see this is the GFS at 18Z. And you can see this is our storm right here. And you can see it's going to start getting going tomorrow. In the morning, you can see it's really rapidly deepens, heads for the lakes. We're dry tomorrow, but you see the isobars tightening up. Same deal, goes into the lakes. We get a big soaker overnight, which ends by later in the morning on Saturday. And that finally sets the stage, once the storm is done, for the cold air to come in. You can see, following those isobars here, that we have the cold air coming in right here, right down from Canada. This is Arctic air that's going to be coming into the area, and you can see it's all coming down. So we're going to get into some of that cold air finally that we've been waiting for all winter long. We're finally going to get into it once we're done with this storm. Let's go to the eastern U.S. view here. So we'll just visualize this a little more here. And I'm going to actually show you the dew points. And we're going to do the 700 to 300 humidity again, so you can see the moisture tap that this thing is going to have. It's not going to be quite as an intensive moisture tap from the tropics, but it's still going to be there. You still notice it, easily visible there. And look at the comma head. And that comma head, that's where you're going to get a lot of snow. Places like Michigan and stuff, they're going to get hammered with lots and lots of snow. If we just show you here, total snowfall here, we'll just roll this through here. Let's do that right there. And you can see, yeah, over a foot of snow, maybe even 2 feet of snow in some of these areas. Chicago as well getting hammered. So they're going to get a lot of snow in upstate, parts of upstate too, western New York as well. Um, Definitely maybe approaching a foot. Stream, up there like Watertown and stuff. And then there'll be the lake effect after that when the Arctic air comes through. So they're going to get plenty of snow up there. Let's go and look at our dew points and wind flow here on this. We're going to show you this first just to show you the effect of this storm here and what it's going to have, and the moisture it's pulling up. You can see that the humidity really getting pulled up there, but look behind it. There's the Arctic air right there. That's these are dew points, but look at these dew points. It's extremely dry air. Dew points down to like -20 in North Dakota there. That's the kind of air mass that's going to bring in once it's done, and then we start slowly getting into it. You can see it starts making its way east, though. The heart of it goes into the plains, and you'll see there's another storm here that we'll be talking about as well. After this storm, yeah, another storm, but this one won't be. This one maybe has the chance to be a little more wintry, perhaps. You can see that the cold air in place, what we have going on, and that cold air is going to stay in place for quite a while. So once we're done with this one storm here. Now this is the GFS. Every model is different. So let's go to the European. And the European, I don't think gives us dew points. It can give us temperatures, however. So we can show you the temperatures here on the European. All right. This is the 18Z European. I want to go to the 12Z European, because the European and the GFS disagree on the second storm. But the principle is still the same. Behind it, you see the cold air coming in and making its way into the east. So principle is still the same, but there are variations. But let's talk about this storm here that we've got going on. So we're going to go and first, let's go back to the GFS and show you the wind field with this thing so you get an idea of the wind that we're going to see from the storm here as it comes in. It really actually doesn't. No, this is the storm right here. So here we go. Doesn't really look that bad over land, but I mean, with those isobars like that, it's going to be some pretty strong winds. And that's why I go to this, which is the 850, to show you where the LLJ is. So you can get a chance to see there's the LLJ right there. And of course, it gets stronger as it moves closer to our area, as you'll see. And this storm definitely has the potential to cause a lot of power outages in a lot of states, like the last one did. So, and this really doesn't show the wind too well on that. That's why I don't really use that too much. But let's now go to the HRRR, 0Z run of the HRRR, and talk short range a little more. So you get an idea, I kind of give you an idea of what is going to happen, over the east, generally. So high pressure still stays in control tomorrow, but it moves offshore. Here come the isobars for fresh southeasterly winds picking up tomorrow night, and then the rain probably going to move in around probably after 10 o'clock or so. It could be heavy at times. You can see the isobars aren't quite as close as they were with the last storm. And notice that the rain is not as big of an area, so we won't see the same. Probably won't see the same crazy amounts of rainfall. Hopefully not with this system. Oh, speaking of that, I almost forgot. I wanted to look at the rivers and lakes. We'll just show you what's going on right now with the rivers and lakes. Let's get that up here. I think we still have 17 gauges in flood still. So we have 17 gauges in flood still. Yeah, you can see some purples here. So these purples are where there's a major flooding here on the Passaic River. Not surprising. Little Falls, Passaic River at Pine Brook. Those are where you're really seeing very high levels. The Pawtucket, it looks like the ones in Rhode Island are retreating a little bit. Come on. All right, it's not really displaying. All right, it doesn't want to work now. But let's get back to the models here. So when we look at our total accumulated precip on the HRRR, you'll see it's showing more of that 1 to 1.5 inches and not the 2-inch amounts. But some isolated areas could still see over 2 inches, depending on where, especially if there's a thunderstorm or if there's training or something like that. It's just not what we need when we have the ground is already saturated and it really can't hold a lot more moisture. So let's go look at our dew points and wind flow, starting off with light northwest winds, and then they become easterly in the afternoon, then to southeasterly. And right now, you can see the dew points still stay fairly low. But they're going to come up as the rain moves in. After 10 o'clock, dew points rise. You get into that moisture. And then that LLJ, where the winds are going to be picking up from the south, and then shifting to the southwest and west later on Saturday. And you can see the dew points dropping there when that happens. Temperatures. So our temperatures tonight probably not going to drop that much with the cloud cover, mid-30s. Tomorrow, mid to upper 40s again. And again, if you're on the shore, probably a little bit cooler with the southeast wind. And then tomorrow night, temperatures really won't drop that much. Maybe initially down to the upper 30s, but then they rise and then they peak into the mid to upper 50s, possibly even 60 degrees in the wee hours of Saturday morning ahead of the front. And then Saturday will start off in the low to mid 50s, then dropping through the 40s. And then as we get into Saturday night, this is as far as we got. It takes us down to the mid 30s. But it will get colder than that as that Arctic air moves in. I want to look at the 850 winds. So this is, again, we'll show you where the LLJ is. You can see here LLJ starts moving in around, figure, like I said, 9, 10 o'clock. You're going to start feeling it, and then the worst of it moves in. And these are still some pretty high winds over us a little after midnight on Saturday here. And that period probably between after midnight sometime is when we're going to see that strong LLJ move overhead. Now, this is the winds aloft, but again, any thunderstorm could bring down, especially if we got another line like we had before, could bring down some of those strong winds and cause some damage. And then that LLJ moves away. So kind of gives you an idea of what we're going to have to deal with, obviously. As far as tomorrow goes, sky-wise, we're going to be dealing with increasing clouds. So I'm thinking we're going to probably have a lot of high clouds streaming in from that storm system. So we'll just take a look at a few soundings here, and you can see those lines getting close together already at 10 o'clock. And then by the time we're at noon, yeah, they're even closer together. So I think we'll have a lot of upper-level moisture tomorrow. You know, cirrus, contrails, jet smog, that kind of stuff. And then obviously Saturday, we'll try to clear it out later on in the day. We'll look at some other cloud models here in a moment. But of course, I do want to look at some more models. So let's go to the NAM 3 and look at what we have here. We'll do the radar. This kind of shows you again the rain moving in after 10 o'clock, and you can see, look at that. It is trying to show a possible line there. And if we get that, these are some really, it's going to really pour in the middle of the night. You can see these could be showers, maybe even thunderstorms in here. I might get some thunder and lightning. We didn't with the last one, which was kind of surprising that there was no lightning with that. But you could see that, you could see that again happen again, and another line possible moving through and causing some issues. And you can see that is some pretty heavy rain right there. Total accumulated precip on the NAM 3. Still in agreement with the HRRR here, generally speaking. Let's go to look at the FGen, which I like to use the NAM 12 for, and start with the 700 here, because this is some pretty, look at all that lift. That is some substantial lift right there. That is a substantial amount of energy that is causing a rising motion in the atmosphere. So that is what you call FGen. So you have this boundary basically where you have this really strong LJ and a lot of lift, and that is really scary to see right there. So we could see some absolutely torrential rain Saturday. When I see something like that, that tells me that some absolutely torrential rain is possible. And this would be, again, around midnight, just like the last one. Move through around midnight. GFS, not quite as impressive there, but it could be underestimating. So here is look at that. That is some pretty intense stuff right there. And let's go look at the winds now. The winds don't look quite as scary as the last one. But again, this is the surface. Now we go above the surface again at the 850. And again, these winds are pretty strong, just aloft above the ground. So again, any shower or thunderstorm could bring those winds down to the surface. And you could have, all right, maybe the winds have been gusting to 30 to 40, and then all of a sudden you get a shower, thunderstorm, and all of a sudden you're getting 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gust. Not out of the question. with these storms, and hopefully that, unlike the last time, that if we do see storms like that, they'll actually issue a severe thunderstorm warning, which should have been done for that line that we had. Definitely should have been done for that line that we had. And we are looking here at the NAM 12. So let's go look at the total accumulated precip, and you'll see, again, that's similar, around 1.5 inches of rain. But again, the ground is already saturated, and it's not going to take a lot to cause more flooding at the coast and as well inland along these rivers. The ground is saturated. The winds won't take a lot to bring down more trees and cause more power outages. Something to keep in mind, obviously, with this storm. So let's go to the GFS, back to the GFS, and we will go ahead and look at our wind here. So this is the GFS here, and you can see, again, that wind mainly over the waters, and that's where it's going to be at its worst. But if we, we'll go ahead and we'll visualize the ocean. All right. But first, let's talk about the weather after the storm moves through. You'll see the wind shift to the west, dew points drop, and then as we head into the night, you'll see the continued west winds. Here comes the drier, really the Arctic air coming into the picture here on Sunday and into Monday. You can see westerly winds still, and then we have this storm that comes through that could bring us some snow now. And then behind it would get even colder if the GFS had its way. Looking at our temperatures, obviously behind the storm, by Sunday morning, this is Saturday, all right, so we're in the 40s, but as we go to Sunday morning, we are down near the freezing mark, and then GFS seems to want to hold back the cold air a little bit, still keep us in the mid-30s Sunday, and then as we go into Monday, that's when we're going to struggle to make it above freezing, all right, and then here comes our storm again, all right, and we'll show you this in a moment here, and then when you see the cold air that continues behind it, I don't really want to get too much in the long range because we got this other storm. We got to get through this first storm before we talk about the second storm, but there are differences in the models. Let me go back to that. Just get this out of the way. All right. So this is the GFS. All right. So here's your storm right here. You see it has like almost like a mix over us, perhaps, because that has the track kind of close to us, and we'd have to see if. But this is the GFS. Now we go to the European model. Where did the storm go? Okay, we're on the 18Z, but look at the 12Z. It's not even here. It's way suppressed. It's way weaker. And the European was kind of showing the storm first. Now it's kind of suppressing it. Icon. Go to the icon next. I don't have enough of the zeros again. We have to actually use the 12Z icon, I think, to see what's going to happen with that. So this is the icon. Does form the storm, but it's a little weaker. So we have a lot of disagreement with that second storm. And but just be prepared that we might actually see our first snowfall. Maybe we can actually make it happen on Tuesday. Maybe, just maybe, we can actually get more than an inch of snow here. Maybe. But I got to focus on this first storm before. We got to take one storm at a time here with this. Back to the GFS, we'll talk a little bit about cloud cover here. Obviously, for tomorrow, we're going to have those increasing clouds. So back this up to this. So tomorrow, we might start off with clear skies, the regular GFS here, and the clouds kind of come in. Saturday, we start off with clouds, maybe a little more sun toward the afternoon. Sunday, we'll have to see what happens. Maybe, depending on how much instability cloudiness we'll have for Sunday, of course. And then Monday, again, the clouds will be on the increase. We can look at the RGM, which is, I only have the 0Z. That's not going to be good enough. We'll have to use the 18Z just for cloud cover for tomorrow. So see the RGM for tomorrow. You can see those high clouds beginning to stream in a little bit throughout the day. They'll thicken by the sunset. And then Saturday, starting off with we'll probably have a lot more clouds around on Saturday. Sunday, probably our best bet for mostly sunny skies, but you can see it wants to bring more clouds in, especially toward the afternoon. So I'll have to see. And as far as Monday goes, well, I can't go out that far. I'm really not going to focus too much on the skies with this big storm coming. So let's go to Vent2 Sky now and visualize the storm a little better, first of all. I'm actually going to pull this out a little bit so we can really visualize it. All right, you can kind of see where the Arctic air is right here, all right? And you can see that Arctic air coming down, all right? So let's move this to tomorrow. You can see the storm kind of gearing up here. So here's the Arctic air. And let's move this toward tomorrow night at 11 o'clock. So you can see the surge of warm air that's coming off on the right side and the really bitterly cold Arctic air on the left side. Okay, let's zoom in now on our area here. And this is 11 o'clock tomorrow night, so this is when things are going to start to get worse. Wind gusts, showing wind gusts to 43 miles an hour. Nothing terrible yet, but we will have the seas coming up here. This is 5.5 feet. Now, we have different models for this, obviously. Now, once we go toward, look at this, it gets much worse as we get to 4 in the morning. So the seas definitely getting worse, as you see, and the wind gusts also getting worse. You can see, we got wind gusts up. Here's 2 o'clock. Here's the HRRR model. Wind gusts near 54 miles an hour again. So, it's showing 54 mile an hour wind gusts again. So we still may need a high wind warning for that, and I won't be surprised at all if the NWS issues under the high wind watch for this as well. And if we take this and we go above the surface again, which I like to do just to show you what's going on right above the surface so we can visualize the LLJ. The worst at LLJ, at least according to the HRRR, seems to come through 3 or 4 in the morning. And again, this is 250 meters above the ground, but you can see some pretty strong winds there over 70 miles an hour. So again, if you get a thunderstorm, it could cause some of these gusts to come down to the surface. Cape, it's showing a little bit of Cape over there over Jersey. It's showing some Cape. It's showing a little bit, just a little bit, but we could see that potential for severe thunderstorms. Let's see lifted index. There is some there. Some there, which is nothing. You're not supposed to see this at all in January. And then we can go to the helicity too, which is another parameter, and this also is up there. So we definitely have some concerns for possible severe thunderstorms for the overnight tomorrow night. And we'll have a much better idea when I do the weather update tomorrow night how bad it's going to be exactly, because we still don't know yet. We have an idea, but it hopefully won't be as bad as the last one. I'm really hoping it's not. Let's go to windy.com, which shows us the European model now, and we'll go to the waves here, because this is a better model for visualizing the oceans here. All right, so you can see how they're going to pick up. Here we go on 4 a.m. Saturday, and you can see already we've got 12-foot waves, 12-foot swells. We got that wind blowing in from the southeast. The wind direction is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be more southeasterly. But this is not going to be good. This is the last thing we need for a lot of these flooded areas. They're going to see more damage with this storm. Wind. Go to wind gusts here. The wind is going to start in already by 10 o'clock. We're already seeing wind gusting to gale force 37. And along the shore could be even higher than that. But it's after 1, 2 in the morning. That's when things pick up. And you can see here 52 mile an hour wind gusts over the water, 2 in the morning, 45 inland. So these could be high wind warning criteria. I think they are. We are, looks like the worst of it right around 3 a.m. 58 mile an hour wind gusts. So, this is not what we need. And you can see when the winds do pick up, actually, they are coming more from the south. So they'll start off southeast, then they'll become more southerly. So this is going to be another near repeat performance of what we just went through, but in a lighter version of it. I guess I could just put it that way, a lighter version of it, but it's still going to be bad. It's still going to cause a lot of problems, and we're still going to see power outages. Luckily, we were fortunate this time around. Long Island didn't see too many, but Jersey got hit hard. Maybe we're going to get hit harder with the power outages this time. We'll find out how it's going to be. That's for sure. I'm not looking forward to it. That's for sure. But this is the last one. After this one, it's done. We don't have to deal with any more of these atmospheric river events. And then behind the front, we'll have some winds too. We'll still maybe need wind advisory criteria, because winds can still gust to 40 in the afternoon as the cooler air drier air starts moving in. But this is a storm definitely not looking forward to. That's for sure. You know what? Let's just go and, we know the NAM overdid things, but let's look at the NAM on here. I'm afraid to look. All right. Here's the NAM, which is way worse, obviously, and probably overdone. It's a little overdone. But this is the NAM here. Oh my, look at that. 82 miles an hour. I think that's a little overdone, but what concerns me is this little area here. It's kind of showing what looks like a line. So we're going to have to watch out again for for the possibility of another squall line developing. That's something I'm really concerned about here. This is the NAM, right? So it's a high end, but this is really concerning here. So the potential is always there, and we're going to have to see what happens with the models as we go on. Here's the waves on the NAM. Oh, these are the waves of the European. All right, so the waves, we just have the one model here. But again, it's just insane with these waves here. Let's go to the earthnullschool.net and look at our sea surface temperature. What is this? What is that? What is that? Almost looks like a hurricane right there. We're going to have to look at that for a moment. So let's look at... we're going to have to go look at that for a moment. Let's look at our sea surface temperature anomalies here, because with all these LLJs, yeah, you can see the water temperature is there's a pretty big area of very much above normal. Those bright yellows, that's 10 degrees plus above normal in those bright yellow temperatures there, and the actual sea surface temperature in those areas is 67 degrees. So, yeah, this is pretty warm water here, and that's going to help fuel. That wind is going to be coming right off that really, really warm water, and that's a big concern, of course, as well. You know, this is an atmospheric river. This is what we're getting as we're dealing with the changing climate that we're dealing with, that nobody in the media seems to want to even talk about. Nobody does. So let me go to the MODIS satellite. What is that thing? It looked like a freaking hurricane out there. A reflection of, oh, look at this thing. What is this? Now, that ain't the storm we just went through, but my gosh, what is that thing? That looks like an intense cyclone. What is that? Oh, that's crazy. That's nuts. So, yeah, I don't know what this is, but you know what? Let's go back to windy.com. We've got to visualize this thing, because that looks like some kind of tropical system to me. This is it right here. It almost looks like it's got an eye. I'm looking at wind gusts. Oh, my gosh. So they got to be getting some pretty bad weather in the Azores right now in these areas right here. Oh, my God. All right, we're going to have to look at Azores storm here for a moment. Was not expecting this. Let me go to Azores storm. Figure out what this is here. Right. There's nothing here about this. Maybe it's I don't know, maybe that's there's another set of islands. The Canary Island storm. Maybe it's the Canary Island storms. Maybe that's it. I don't know. It looks like a big storm out there, but nothing really on this at all in the media. I mean, really nothing. I mean, it's crazy. I got to go back to Weather and Hazard. We got to look at this. This is like, I don't know. They just love to bury this stuff, don't they? I mean, that's not normal. What the hell is that doing out there? Let's get some observations from this thing. We'll figure this out here. It's somewhere over here. That storm looks pretty intense. I don't see any pretty crazy winds with it, though. I don't see any crazy winds. So, I'll tell you, it looks pretty impressive on the satellite, whatever the hell that thing is. I don't know, man. I don't know what the hell that thing is. Let's see if we can get some more satellite images of this, because this is... All right, let's see if we can... I don't know if we can get... All right. Let's get the Atlantic. Let's see if we can get the whole Atlantic here. The whole Atlantic Ocean here, Caribbean. Let's see, I don't know. Storms. We have tropical Atlantic, but I don't think it's going to show us the storm. It's way out here. It's way out. There it is right there. It's spinning around. That looks pretty intense there. It's extra tropical, but I mean, I've never seen anything like that. So wherever that thing goes, it's going to cause some issues. I mean, you can look at it on Ventus Sky as well. I mean, I don't want to spend too much. We have our own storms to deal with. But, yeah, that looks pretty wicked right there. This is, again, your storm right here. Look at this thing. I wonder where that's going to go. That can impact Europe. So that looks like a pretty strong storm right there out in the end. I'm sure that's causing some pretty impressive waves, too, as well, out in the middle of the ocean as well. Yeah, 25-footers. That's... So I don't know where this thing is going to go. I'm kind of curious about it, so we're going to move this along and see where it goes. Because that could be a problem for Europe. It looks like it kind of just sits there. It's kind of just stuck in place. But still, really Craziness. All right, getting back to our area again. Let's visualize this again. Looking at our wind gusts, looking along the lakes too. There could be some pretty bad winds here. Blizzard. It could be some blizzard conditions because this is where they're getting the snow over here in that calm ahead. And again, this is tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. So as far as tomorrow goes, we'll be okay with the rain. It doesn't really move in until later. This is the precipitation thing right here. But it will be coming in later. And we'll talk more about this storm in the next weather update. And, the next weather update, I'm just going to be focusing on this storm, not the next one. Let me get through this one. All right. But hopefully in between this one and the next one, we can have a nice sunny day. Because we haven't had a nice, clear, sunny day in a little while, and I think we need one. Especially a nice, clear, sunny, cold day. The kind of days we used to get all the time that we don't see much anymore. But anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it up. My gosh, I've been going a long time. So have a good night. And I'll have more on the storm for you tomorrow night as we get to deal with another mess for tomorrow night.